Hey, welcome back everybody. Another few months has gone by, so a lot of progress has happened and have a lot to catch up on, so let's take a look. But last video, I think we just had one wall pretty much standing here in this spot, maybe two. I can't remember if we had this end wall on or not, but anyways, I've not filmed along the way. It seems like, each time I've been here, I've been kind of in a race to just to get things done, and I'm trying to beat winter at the moment, at least to get everything closed in and insulated and so forth. So anyways, a lot has happened. I actually just yesterday had our framing inspection and it passed, so I'll bring you inside and kind of show you what's going on in here at the moment. You can see I've got our windows installed, all four there. Just did that this weekend. I have not yet ordered our two sliding glass doors, so we'll have one here on this end where the pond, there's a little pond just on the other side of there, and then going back around this way, there'll be another sliding glass door here. So once we get those in, we will be completely dried in. Let me kind of back up and show you what we've got going on. So got all our rafters. This roof is about a 112 pitch, just a little bit over that, so pretty flat. I'll talk about the detail on the top, the surface of the roof here in a little bit. But you can see this is actually the bones of the old cabin exposed. Pretty much, I guess you'd call it skip sheathing, and there's more skip than sheathing, I think, up there. So you can kind of see up here that I've got the rafters sitting on a couple of sleepers, kind of span the gaps between the trusses, or between the rafters. Shimmed in some places, not in others. Sorry, the dogs are, at least one dog is being rambunctious. Okay, so and it's a little bit windy outside, so if that house wrap is making a lot of noise, apologize for that. Anyhow, these are 2x8s spanning this gap here. You can see on the headers that I have here, even though this is not a load-bearing wall, I decided to put a big or a decent-sized header across the opening for the sliding glass door. Didn't necessarily need all that, but at the same time, it kind of made things, besides this being strong, it made life easier for me just to keep the same type of framing all the way around. You see I've got the same thing across the window, so it just made life easy as far as keeping all the dimensions the same as I did all the walls. I've got this foam board up kind of inside the rafter bays there by the tails, rafter tails, mainly just to keep birds out right now. Once I get the soffit installed out there, I won't need that at all. Talk to the inspector, he says nope. Once I've got the soffit and the fascia all installed, I don't need bird blocking, which makes sense to me. On that note, let me kind of take you outside and kind of show you again. Sorry for the noise of the house wrap. So here's, I just put the sub fascia on this weekend. I've got the drip cap installed on the top, waiting. I've got a gap there, so I'm leaving 3/4 of a space there for the finished fascia board. And yeah, so speaking of the drip edge, so I picked up my roof metal, so that's what's going to be going on the roof eventually, not this week. I probably have to wait. I'm here by myself at the moment, so I'll wait till I get another hand out here. Plus it's been like windy. Even if I decided to do it this weekend, wouldn't have been very safe. I don't think. It's it's been pretty windy, and these panels are 14 feet long, so a little bit over 14, so a little bit too risky for me to take on by myself. Taking you over to the side, you can see I actually have built up some scaffold over here just to make things a little easier to access, especially when we were putting the windows in. I built one platform. I thought about making one that goes all along, the entire length, which would be handy, but I just kind of made this. It's a little heavy, but I can pick it up and slide it across, so it'll fit across each of those things individually. So I'll just kind of leave it as that. No sense putting any more money into the scaffolding that I really need. And you can see again, so here's my windows. Subfascia is all finished. I need to put the soffit in and the finished fascia board. Let me take you, here's our, if you hadn't seen it, I'm not sure how much I've shown, this is the little pond behind the cabin. So kind of show you what I'm working on today. I've got everything else closed in with the exception of, looks like it's closed in at the moment, but it's just temporary. So I've got to finish officially boxing in that little triangle piece up there on the underhang, I guess you call it, under the overhang, and close out the end of the of that eave. And then everything will be officially finished off, as far as that's the last of what I would call framing, really, that I need to do on the outside of the house. Back around here, it's really a pretty day. The sun is just coming up over there, over the dogs. It's a little cold with the wind. I'm not sure, it's in the 40s right now, but with the wind blowing, it feels pretty cold. Well, 40s is pretty cold as far as I'm concerned at the moment. But anyways, yeah, pretty day. A little breezy. It's been breezy for the last several days that I've been here. All right, I'll take you back inside for a minute. Okay, here we are on top of the roof. You can see, because it's such a flat roof, I wanted to go ahead and put, we're going to have the metal on here, but I wanted to put ice and water shield over everything. So that's what you see here. I've got temporarily, because we're not ready to do this just yet, but kind of have some flashing rigged up between the new roof and the old, just to keep water out until we get everything buttoned up. So along with the metal, along with the panels, you know, for this section, of course, I've got some transition flashing that'll go all along the transition between the two slopes. And then, yeah, all the trim pieces for the corner gable trim. And as I said, I've already got the drip edge installed down on that end. So at the moment, it's just a matter of finding the time and the help to get it done. Hopefully it won't take too long. It's just, it's about almost right at 24 feet across, so each panel covers 3 feet, so got 8 panels. So in theory, it won't take that long to get it done, but you know, first time I'm doing it, so it may take me a little longer than it might somebody with more experience. But anyhow, that's the next biggest project on the list. Next, so today, I mentioned already, I've got here, you can see the inside of that triangle piece. It's just kind of literally just sitting up in there. So I've got to frame that out, attach that piece, cut it to the actual dimension that it's supposed to be. And then, really, I've got to frame out, you know, we're going to have this wall, we'll get a different perspective here. So where it took out, you know, the overhang from the original cabin roof, I've got to frame up to extend the wall back up to the ceiling rafters, or to the roof rafters. And so we can put a finished wall on there eventually that'll line up with the existing siding. So that's probably next on my agenda today, after the triangle piece that I showed you. This, just for future reference, so right now this is a, you know, obviously a porch light that we're not going to need inside anymore. So what I plan to do electrical wise is remove that light. I'll run power off of that. Actually, I'll put a junction box up in the attic, and we're going to I'll run power to 3 or 4 can lights. Well, not really can lights, but those canless LED lights. Hopefully that work light over here, I'm trying to keep it out of the middle of the picture, isn't too bright for you. But anyhow, 3 or 4 can lights there, and then right now there's a GFI outlet here. That timer there is, we've got a got an aerator going to our pond. So anyways, that GFI outlet I will relocate over there to that wall, so it'll be right next to the pond. It'll be handy. And then we'll run probably two outlets along this wall, one on either side of that window, and then at least one down here. Code says you're supposed to have one about every 12 feet. There's some other stipulations, I think like 6 feet from a door, etc. I guess because of the nature of this addition, it won't be a conditioned space, at least not now. I'll be honest, the inspector, first off, pardon my mess, I just realized looking through here what a mess this looks like. Anyways, the inspector basically said he's not going to hold me to following code specifically for the number of outlets and where they have to be, so that's nice. For convenience sake, we might have like a small couch over here, so I'll probably put at least one on that side of the window and one over here somewhere. And then I may go ahead and just put one, under each set of windows, and maybe one in the middle. So I might meet code anyways when all's said and done, but I have some options there. All right, what else can I tell you? Other things on the floor. I'm going to be building this up. You see, I've got actually this 2x4 still sitting on the floor. I plan to keep that there. I've got the OSB on the outside. Good job, Rosie. I've got it kind of wrapped, with zip tape. And I've got a line cut, or a gap cut in front of that, and I'm going to put the my roll flashing. I'll actually run down through that gap to keep water from kind of getting in there. But because I'm keeping this 2x4, and I wanted this here because this is really the side that faces the most of the weather kind of comes from our southwest. Hi, there's Freya. Ciao, dog. So anyways, I wanted to keep that there just to kind of give us a little more security from rain, snow, whatever that might build up on that side. So I'm just going to build up this existing floor here to match it. So some combination of probably some foam board, insulation board, and plywood to get to the height that we need, so everything will level out in the end when the finished flooring is on. Here's all the rest of my supplies kind of sit here. I think at the moment I could probably open a hardware store with all the stuff that I've got, that I've acquired. Another look around. Trash. Not too exciting.